one. Boom! There it is, ladies and gents. Ooh, check that out. We got Spotify playing on the background because I'm not in my normal spot with my soundboard, so we got to improvise and make things a little bit different. Hey, health is super important to me. I mean, you guys know, running 6 miles a day. Today, I get to talk to somebody who's handling their business and helping other people just like you get into the greatest physical shape of your life. So let's get on with this show. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business and social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, let's do this. James, even though he's not here, he's going to drop some heat. So hit it, James.
All right, all you business pros out there, before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder, as always, to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time, and don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we're so excited and honored to bring another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. Today's guest is turning back the clock for folks who have been coaxed into believing that the pains they feel in their bodies are just old age. Ugh, no thank you. Look, there's nothing wrong with getting older. It's a blessing. But just because we're aging doesn't mean we have to live in constant pain. Our guest is changing the lives of active people like the business bro, Mr. 6 miles a day, helping prevent the need for unnecessary medications, imaging, and surgery. For folks who have already been feeling it, our guest is helping to rehab from discomfort and injuries and helping you live a happy and healthy life. If you've already seen a chiropractor, physical therapist, or other doctors that didn't help, tune in to hear what makes our guest different and how he can get you back on your feet and doing the things you used to do years ago. Joining us today from Advanced Physical Therapy and Wellness out of Lompoc, California, welcome to the show, Owen Johnston!
Solo showing on. We still get the intro from James. Dr. O, thank you very much for being on the program. What do you think so far? I mean, 3 minutes in.
Yeah, sounds pretty great to me. I'm from Lompoc, but I've been down here in San Diego for about 5 years now. So I'm not based out of there. I'm over there at Rosecrans, Point Loma area.
Yeah, little correction from James. So yeah, once he came to San Diego, I'm telling you, ladies and gents, you stop by here, you ain't going home. It's the most beautiful city in the world. A little rainy today, but other than that, Dr. O, I gotta ask you, man. Like I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to my own physical health. I can't say I'm a freak when it comes to my diet. I eat okay 80% of the time. I'm doing pretty good. But I'm not 100% there. But when it comes to physical activity, like James said, dude, I run 6 miles a day. I do 240 push-ups, 200 sit-ups. Like that's my routine on a regular basis. I want to stay as physically fit as possible. But when I bring that up to somebody who's maybe just getting started, it's the end of the year, they're thinking about getting into shape at the beginning of the year. What I'm doing and what they want to do are so far apart. It's almost like I can never do that. I can never be at your level. I was trolling through your Instagram and I'm watching you balance on like posts and like do all kinds of amazing stuff. And I know looking at that, people are thinking that is not me. I can't do that. But there are so many things they can do. How can you get them to a point where they are super comfortable, even though the start isn't really that fun?
Well, I suppose, it's definitely all about mindset. It depends on where they want to go, and then getting really intentional with what their goals are, what they want to achieve. I mean, if they want to run 6 miles like you, or they just want to just go for a 2-mile hike, it all starts somewhere, and it all starts with kind of where they want to go. And then once they know where they want to go, then, they can fill in the dots on their own, or I can help guide them too, particularly if they do get injured because they overdo it, go straight to trying to run 6 miles like you. Like I'm sure there was a progression to it in the mindset, right? Or did you just go straight
absolutely. Nah, man, I'm not that kind of a beast mode. It started off with, a couple miles, maybe, walking, sort of jogging, and then progressively trying to increase my pace. And then James invited me to do some 8 mile, the Balboa Park 8 mile run. And so I decided to up my game a little bit. He said, throw in a couple 6 mile runs. And I was like, oh, you want me to run 6 miles a day? So I started training at 6 miles a day for a while, and it became my standard. So yeah, it was progression. It didn't start off that way.
Was there any kind of like mindset shift, like kind of what made you, why is it important to you to be physically fit?
The truth, I want to look in
Yeah.
the mirror and be happy when I like get out of the shower. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to be 100% honest, that's really what it comes down to. I wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin. I wanted to like another one. Like, if I go to Vegas and I walk around a pool, I would like to walk around the pool comfortably and not have to worry about that sort of thing. Maybe it sounds a little vain, but that's really, really my motivation. Every time I start to get tired or I feel that burn come in, like in my mind, the thing that kicks on is this is where the change happens, right? Like everything prior to that is cool, but once I get that part where you're running and it's getting a little bit harder to breathe, or you're working on sets and it's getting a little bit harder to burn, in my mind, that is where that six pack comes in. That is where the distance comes in. That is where your strength that's where all the definition starts to come in. That's where the real workout happens, I guess. And I don't know, is that crazy to think that way? But I don't know. I was listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was talking about getting to that point. Don't start counting until you feel the burn. So that's kind of where I got it from.
Yeah. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was actually listening to him yesterday, and he was just talking about that. He's like, you have to find your why, in his awesome, accent. He's like, you have to find your why. And then it doesn't really matter what it is, whether or not you want to be able to show off to girls, or whether or not, you want to be the greatest bodybuilder of all time. You want to be an actor, or you want to balance on their hands and their head like me. It doesn't matter what your why is, but you got to start somewhere. Once you know that why, then you can kind of take the steps, and then you realize kind of how the journey and the path is actually, where it's at, like you were talking about.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, a lot of people get into health and different areas. Why open up a practice? Like, what's the idea behind that? What's the concept behind it? And who are you going after?
Well, who after, I'm not quite sure. I mean, are you talking about like the people that I want to serve and people I want to
Yes,
help, or?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I've been a physical therapist for almost 7 years. I worked in an outpatient clinic for almost 2 years, and that's where I thought I wanted to go as soon as I got out of college. I was like, I'm going to work with people all day long, and I'm going to heal people. I'm going to help people get better, achieve their goals, and it's going to be awesome. But unfortunately, really what happened was I went into a practice and I saw 20 to 30 patients a day. I'd only get to spend like 10 to 15 minutes with each one and checking in with them. And I ran around like a chicken with my head cut off. And then so I got into, and that's what I love doing. I love outpatient. I love manual therapy. I love putting my hands on people and working on them and doing things that they can't do on their own. They need some sort of assistance to tape a joint a certain way, or to mobilize or manipulate certain body parts, depending on where your scope of practice is and whatnot. And I wasn't able to get that time with the patients, and being decent outcomes, but the poor outcomes are what keeps me up at night. The patients that I could not get better, and I feel like I needed more time with them. So that actually put me into a situation where I got into home health for about 4 or 5 years, where I was more comfortable. I was seeing 2 to 5 patients a day, but I was working with more lower level stuff. So I had to find some sort of gratification in that, which I did. But I mean, I still wasn't treating the population that I wanted to work with, which was active people that were trying to avoid unnecessary imaging, surgery, and medication, or like kind of geriatrics, which, like I said, love working with them, but we're working on more basic stuff like using adaptive equipment for gait training, bed mobility, car transfers, stuff like that, educating caregivers and making the correct like medical calls on who to bring in, social calls for social workers and whatnot. And none of that was me. And I found a way so that I could have my dream, have my path, working with the people that I was passionate about working with, active, driven people, leaders, business owners like yourself, that want to be unlimited, want to be able to run 6 miles a day, want to be able to feel comfortable with their bodies at the pool, want to want to achieve all their goals. And the way that I'm able to do it now is I'm one-on-one with the patient. I only see one patient every 45 minutes to an hour. That's it. No more of this 4 patients at a time. They're being juggled around on a conveyor belt oven that goes like PT assistant, PTA, you get some heat, get some electric stimulation, and then maybe you get to see me, and then out the door. It is you walk in the door, you see me, I work with you one-on-one, I progress your treatment plan, I give you some homework, and you get to crush your goals, feel better, and no need for any imaging, surgery, or medication.
So we're talking one-on-one. We're
Mhm.
talking how often on these one-on-one meetings?
It really depends on the patient, what they have going on, how many body parts, and how acute the injuries are. I would say if the injury is really acute, just kind of a ballpark, because really I got to get someone in for a total body diagnostic or an initial evaluation, depending on what they want to do. If they just want to be told what my recommendations are, they do total body diagnostic. They want an evaluation, they also get a treatment session in there too, so they can really feel what I have to offer. They get an exercise prescription with videos directed toward their unique needs, and then they can enter in. Both of them have the option to enter in a program that will get them to their goals. But I would say if it's just like, I would say on average, probably about 8 visits. Like if it's a really acute injury and there's normally one body part, but then there is, an underlying condition that you don't even notice for a couple of visits. It's usually what happens. So the first phase is usually like see them twice a week for the first week or two, depending how acute it is, kind of get them out of pain. And then we start to notice where the root cause of the problem, like if it's their knee, usually we'll start finding things in their hip, their back. As the acuity of the injury goes away, we start to notice other things. So then we start attacking that like once a week for the next couple of weeks, and then progress their home exercise program so that they can get back to doing what they're doing without any risk of coming back to me. Now, one more thing, if it's just like a single body part and they're just kind of acute and they want to do a little bit more work on their own, I also have a program too that I call the Jumpstart Program, where I can see them maybe just once a week for about 5 weeks or a month, and they'll be doing a little bit extra homework on their own time, and then they'll still get the tools that they need to not have to come back and see me for the same thing. But if they do, totally fine. Always, the door is always open, because I love working for patients, and I love not having to be told what to do by insurance companies or corporations or anybody that tries to tell me how to treat my patients or give me some sort of secondary gain of income or time or whatever sort of benefits. It's like I get to work with the patient, get them better, get them back to doing what they want to do. And if I see them again, hopefully it's at the grocery store, or hopefully it's out in the community running 6 miles, crushing their goals, and taking their shirts off, showing them six-pack abs.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm going to see you at the pool. That's what's going to happen.
There we
All right.
go.
So when somebody comes to work with you, it's because they've suffered some sort of injury. They were already an active individual. And so you're helping them go through any physical training that they need to get back on their feet. Is it ever anybody who wants to start getting into specific regimens and wants to avoid an injury?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love people that are kind of that motivated and driven to kind of try and get into something, first, like you're talking about, without the risk. Yeah, absolutely. And in that case, I would love to see them for like kind of like it's just an evaluation, just so we can just find out kind of their postural insufficiencies, kind of do like a basic movement screening, so I can see if they have any muscle imbalances, whether or not they got certain tight muscles in one region, or slack loose muscles in the other region that could predispose them to possible injuries in whatever they're looking to get into. So yeah, absolutely. Just most of the time, that's not what happens. Most of the time, people come in the door because they're already hurting.
Yeah, yeah. I usually see a doctor when it hurts, right? I mean, we should be seeing people in a preventative way. I mean, that's the whole idea of preventative medicine anyways. The whole reason why you're supposed to go get a physical and your blood work and all these different things to prevent stuff. Same reason why you should have a conversation with a physical therapist before you get into something, especially if you haven't done any sort of physical activity for a while, and you're about to get into it. It's always good to talk to somebody just to kind of get an idea, because you think you have an idea until you start picking up weights that you've never picked up in a long time, moving in ways that you've never moved in quite some time. You could cause some strain, could cause some injury. Dr. O, in this era that we're living in, I mean, we're so infused today with vaccine this and medication that and booster this and all kinds of stuff like that. Your practice seems to me a little bit more holistic. Not to say that some of those medications are bad and different, whatever, but what you're trying to do here is you're trying to say, look, before you go that route, there are certain things that you can do to have your body heal yourself. What are some of those practices that anybody can do on a regular basis that can keep them in a position where they're less likely to get sick or hurt?
Yeah, I mean, there's just starting with the basics. I mean, you don't even necessarily need to start exercising for like overall wellness, like you're talking about, like the holistic approach sort of thing. And one big thing is sleep. So I mean, just starting with sleep. Like my fiance Jen, she's actually a doctor of physical therapy as well, co-founder of Advanced Physical Therapy and Wellness. She starts out. She used to do one-on-one coaching with for wellness clients, and I mean, I agree too. The biggest thing is first starting, don't have to exercise, don't have to change your diet, sleep. She got her clients just getting on a kind of sleep hygiene, trying to get between like 6 and 8 hours a night, going to bed at the same time, trying to wake up at the same time every single day. And automatically they were dropping between 5 to 10 pounds within the first week or two. And then she started getting into a little bit of the diet and then a little bit into the exercise, but it was very progressive. For sure. So there's lots of things you can do. I mean, just back to the basics, sleep.
Dude, okay, so here's a contradiction, right? Because I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and depending on which entrepreneur you talk to, everybody's about the grind, right? Get out there and work. You have your W-2 job, fine. Then on the side, you need to be building your side hustle so you can get yourself out of that gig. And you should be going 9 to 5, take a break, and then work 6 to midnight. A lot of talk about hustle, grind. And I agree with you. Sleep is so vitally important. And I put in a lot of hours in my day, but I make sure that I have a bedtime. Like I get up at 4:20 every morning, and people are always like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, it starts off by going to bed. Like my alarm, my phone says at 7:45, it goes off. It says it's nighttime. Like the nighttime setting kicks in, and I start to do whatever it is that my nighttime routine is. And I want to be in bed somewhere around between 8:30 and 9 o'clock at night so that I get my 7 hours of sleep. Because running 6 hours a day can be draining, but there's some sort of weird power that I get when I go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time. It's almost like I can take on my day, include that heavy exercise and whatever goes on throughout my day, and somehow still have the energy because of that consistent amount of sleep. It's not 8 hours, it's not 10 hours, but it's not 4 and it's not 5. It's about 7 every single day. Why is sleep and consistently going to sleep at the same time, waking up at the same time so important to the body?
So, I mean, to bring it back to the man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was listening to him, like I said yesterday, I think a little bit today
Sleep
too.
faster.
Yep, you got it. He was like, there's 24 hours in a day. He's like, he's an 18-hour work day. Get about 6 hours of sleep. I know you said I need 7 or 8 hours, but sleep faster. Me personally, I get between 6 and 8. Sometimes less. I wake up pretty early, usually between 3:30 and 6 a.m. I go to bed between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. I try to be in bed before 9 for sure, but I'm also kind of reading a little bit of reading a book before I go to sleep, usually some motivational stuff. But so the grind, kind of the misconception with that, it's like, yeah, you can grind, but is it efficient? Are you doing the essential tasks, or are you being distracted and nodding off and daydreaming and possibly burning the candle at both ends and predisposing yourself to a heart attack by drinking all the 5-hour energies that you possibly can muster to make it through the day? So yeah, I noticed for me personally, it sounds like for you too as well, and a lot of other people, if you have that consistent sleep time and that schedule, you're more efficient, you stay on task, you're less likely to be distracted. So you can optimize the essential tasks and crush your goals rather than kind of being in a wishy-washy kind of um, kind of scatterbrained kind of world sort of a thing, and not get any of your goals or your tasks done.
Dude, having set sleep is important. Um, Making sure that I have the energy throughout the day is important. The other thing is, and you just took a chug. I drink water all the time. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I drink water. Like 95% of my day is water, 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 water. And something that I tell people, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm gonna refer it to you, but something I tell people all the time when they're trying to make the change is, diet can be tough, but if you can change one thing, if you can drink water instead of soda, instead of any other sugar filled thing, it's going to make a huge difference in your life. And if you have to be bad, if you're going to consume the sugar in some way, I always tell them, eat it, don't drink it, because I feel like you can drink the crap out of some sugar like really, really quick. And having that water on a regular basis, in my mind, I'm like, you know what? If I had that piece of cake, fine. Drinking all that water is going to wash the stuff down. I also have this idea in my mind that, that 3 o'clock feeling in the afternoon where you feel tired and exhausted, it's usually not tired and exhaustion, it's dehydration, lack of water. How does water play a key component in our well-being?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, our bodies are made up of, I'm not quite sure the statistic, but I mean, it's a very high percentage of water, like say like 80, 90% or something like that. We did learn in physiology kind of about the different compartments and all that stuff, and I'll spare you guys all the details of like interstitial fluid, extracellular fluid, and all that nonsense. But there is, I mean, our bodies are composed of mostly water. And then there's, all the atoms and stuff. We're basically kind of this biochemical science experiment that's going on constantly, all these chemical reactions and whatnot. But if you're dehydrated or you don't have enough electrolytes in your system, your nervous system cannot fire correctly. So it's definitely very important. Me personally, I sip on water throughout the day, just little bits at a time. It also kind of depends on what kind of diet that you're on. Like if you're on a kind of high carb, low fat diet sort of a thing, you're not going to need quite as much water, because the carbohydrates and the glycogen are going to be storing excess water. Whereas if you're on kind of like a ketogenic diet, where you're doing like a high fat, low carb sort of thing, you don't have as much of the glycogen, the carbohydrates to store more water. So you need more salt. You need more electrolytes, and you need more water, particularly with that diet throughout the day. But it's super important for brains to function, for your muscles to fire optimally, to stay on task, all that stuff. So that's another basic thing that I was thinking about covering, but you beat me to it.
Perfect, man. I mean, I'm telling you, the physical part is I'm just giving you all the objections that I get when I talk to people about health, right? When they ask me questions. And here's the other one, and I feel it right now in my biceps. So I added curls recently to my routine, right? Because none of everything's been without weights, running, push-ups, sit-ups, all that stuff. So I got some dumbbells and I added curls. I was like, okay, I'm gonna work on these biceps. And I gave myself like flexibility. I'm like, I'm gonna hit them on Saturday and Sunday. I'm gonna let my arms rest during the week, and then I'll do it again and gradually add in a couple more days. And the reason why I do that is because literally, like, I am sore right now. Like I have it's sore to open up my arm all the way, and that sore feeling. For me, it's like it's a victory, right? This is exactly what I wanted to do: break down the muscles, let them rebuild, and that's what it's for. But when somebody's first getting started, I try to ask them to embrace the suck, to realize that what you're about to do for the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to suck. Your body is going to be in physical pain when you're sore trying to recover. So, in order to avoid some of that or to work through some of that, what are some things people can do so that they're not overdoing it, especially that at the very beginning, but B, still be doing something so that they're in the habit of moving even though they're going through that soreness that their body's going to feel?
Okay, yeah, so for sure. So not overdoing it in the beginning so they're not injuring themselves and just kind of getting that soreness. That soreness is called delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, and it's a combination of a bunch of kind of micro tears in the tissues and little basically micro traumas and stuff like that.
Uh-oh. Hope we didn't lose you. Well, ladies and gents, I don't know. We might have lost Dr. O, or maybe I got lost, but I think my internet's still good. I got a signal.
Okay, sorry about
There
that.
we
I
go.
think you
No worries.
might have lost the signal.
All
Okay,
right,
so
go for it.
we
Go
keep
for it.
going.
So we asked about getting sore. Sorry.
Yep. So delayed onset muscle soreness. So that's the good kind of sore. What's not the good kind of sore is like a deep aching pain, like in your joints or kind of where the tendons or ligaments are. And that usually means you overtrained, you overdid it, you did too much, and it's probably going to hurt for a little while longer. So just starting out slow, just like you said. Really, like if you wanted to start out with just some bicep curls, like you were talking about, you can start out with just like 2 to 3 sets of coming close to that technical form breakdown. Just like 2 to 3 sets of between 10 and 20. You want to go like lighter weights in the beginning before you start, going for like powerlifting and all that stuff. You'll want to feel that soreness for about usually between 1 and 3 days. And then if it's over 3 days, it's not too big of a deal, but usually it's between 1 and 3 days. You overdo it, that soreness can actually last for up to close to a month.
Ooh.
Um, yeah. So yeah, starting out slow, like you said, like 1 to 2 days a week, and then kind of progressing a little bit more and a little bit more as your body starts to adapt, and that delayed onset muscle soreness starts going away. Like within the usually the second week, you can add another set of, like if you're doing just bicep curls, then you can add maybe a few sets of hammer curls. So you're working a little bit of a different range of motion, different musculature, and then you kind of keep progressing up there until you reach some sort of peak within like 4 to 6 weeks, and then you kind of do a deload phase for about a week where you do kind of cut your exercise routine in half so your body can have some time to recover, and then start a new exercise program. You can kind of raise up and then kind of drop off a little bit.
All right, last question here. Supplements. So the funniest one was ashwagandha. So ashwagandha came to my attention mainly because, well, on TikTok, I saw a lot of people talking about, ooh, you should take this to grow your cucumber, let's just say, right?
Mhm.
But as I did my own little research on it, I saw that it's really good for lowering stress and helping with like soreness. Exactly what we're talking about, like rejuvenating your muscles after workouts. And so I was thinking about checking it out. I started trying it for a little while. Do I see a difference? I mean, I'm still sore. It's still coming around. It's still, it's still recovering. And I've never been one big on supplements at all. Is there anything that people should like look into, maybe if they want to grow muscle versus maybe they want to recover faster? Anything they should be doing beforehand and maybe afterwards, consuming wise, to help them out?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are going to take supplementation, just remember that supplementation is just for replenishing things that you may not be getting in your diet. So if you're eating tons of protein, you don't necessarily need to, unless you're a competitive bodybuilder that may be enhanced. You may not need to necessarily take like essential amino acids or extra protein shakes if you're getting it already in a dietary source. Now, with that said, there's been some studies based on kind of like the agriculture and the foods that we have currently as far as like produce and whatnot. And I think it was something like, I don't know the exact details, but like an apple in like the 1920s compared to an apple now, you would have to have like 60 to 70 apples to equal that one apple of nutrition. So if you're going to take supplementation, like kind of the basics that they talk about, multivitamins, the omega-3s and all that stuff. Personally, I take doTERRA Lifelong Vitality. I'm very I trust doTERRA hands down with everything, because I've seen where they're sourced. They come from all small farmers throughout the world where the herbs grow the best, and been on some of the trips with my fiance, and they help people too. So that's one of their main missions. The difficulties with the supplementation industry is that I believe it's like they did a bunch of studies, and they show that 80 to 90% of them don't actually have what they claim to have in them,
Mm.
or the ratios, or they've been adulterated, meaning they got extra junk in there, or they've been extracted with some sort of chemical processes that are kind of slightly toxic to the human body. So definitely, if you're going to take supplementation, know what you want to be taking it for, maybe from some sort of nutritionist coaching or doing your research on the internet, but then really research where it is sourced. Otherwise, you may be taking something that in too high of doses, and that could be making you worse over time too.
All right. Well, you've shared a lot of good information with us today, and I want to make sure people are able to connect with you, especially here in San Diego. So if people want to reach out to you, find out more, maybe they're going through their own stuff or want to have a conversation, how can they do that?
Yeah, so they can find me on Instagram for sure. There it is, at Advanced PT Wellness, as well as advancedptwellness.com. They can also get a hold of me through my email, which is either drojdpt@gmail.com, or there is ojohnston@advancedptwellness.com. Either one will do. But yeah, if they want to learn more, check out the site. Check out the Instagram. They can see me doing all sorts of hand balancing skills and stuff like that, because that's what I love doing. Started out with just push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups, just like you, and just kind of just kept going, following the dream, setting more goals, and just going further. So yeah, Instagram, website, or they can always just call or text me too. My cell phone number personally is 559-909-4730. That's how I love connecting with people the most, is talking, word of mouth for sure. So, but there's other avenues where it depends on wherever you're comfortable.
Hey man, it's old school, dude. That's how we roll. A little conversation goes a long way these days, my friend. All right, Dr. O, thank you very much for coming on the program. Ladies and gents, look, your health is your wealth. There's only one thing a sick person ever wants, and that's to be healthy. And you have that opportunity right in front of you. I know we live in a world of mandated vaccines here and do this over here, and I don't care what choice you make. Bottom line is you only get one body, the one that you have right now. So you got to take care of it as best you possibly can. And it requires putting it through some stress, making your lungs work a little more, making your arms and legs move a little more. What you put in your body is all important, because I don't know about you guys, but I want to be here for quite some time. So if you guys ever need any help, you want to take a look at what Dr. O is doing, make sure you guys go to advancedptwellness.com, advancedptwellness.com, or follow him on Instagram at advancedptwellness. All right, Dr. O, I got one more question for you. We're big on creating content on our show. I believe that getting in front of more people and telling them what it is you do is the key to any business's success. So what was your experience like on the Business Bros podcast today?
Well, first of all, it was a great experience. I really like your energy, and I tend to match people's energies too. So if it's kind of a lower level energy, then I'm a little bit kind of slower, kind of quieter, stuff like that. But I love how just excited and pumped up you are, connecting on all sorts of levels, whether it was, activities, fitness, I want to say the God himself, but, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the man, and yeah, just getting pumped up about business. Because like I said, actually my favorite clienteles are business owners. Like, business owners are awesome. But like I said, not limited to business owners, just driven people and or leaders that want to be 100% present with their families, with their teams, and with the communities they serve. So yeah, man, I'm all about businesses, business owners, and just progressing people back to achieving whatever goals they want to.
Boom. There it is, ladies and gents. Get that energy. It's out there. It's waiting for you. It's living inside you. You just got to be able to release it, let it out. All right, ladies and gents, we'll see you guys again a little bit later. Ooh, I missed a bunch of comments here. Thank you, Angel, for checking it out. Yes, you needed this. So we'll make sure we'll connect you guys. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys again next time. Dr. O, appreciate you. I got to stop by and check out your office, dude. You're right here in Rosecrans. You're in my neck of the woods. So I got to make sure I at least meet you in person, shake the hand, maybe meet you at one of Rob Garcia's events. So we'll see what happens there. All right, ladies and gents, if you're in San Diego, let me know. Shoot me a DM at Business Bros Pod if you guys need help with any of your content creation stuff, paid ads, that sort of stuff, getting in front of more people, telling them what it is you do. It's kind of the necessary aspect of your business. It's the only way you're going to grow. Get in front of more people and tell them what it is you do. Get physically fit. We'll see you guys again a little while later. Peace, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.com.